It's usually not this green in this part of eastern Ethiopia. It's just rained here in Somali. But this impression is misleading. EU commissioners visiting the region have learned that rainfall here has become less predictable, and periods of drought last longer. The survival of the local residents depends on whether their herds will be able to make it through the droughts.
During the dry season, the animals can't find enough to eat. So sometimes we climb into the trees and gather leaves for them.
Here, a medical worker vaccinates animals against anthrax. The shots also strengthen their immune systems to help them stand the climate. The EU is financing a program that trains herders to treat their sick animals themselves.
We move to other regions during the dry season. In fact, my wife and I head off in different directions. She takes care of the cattle, and I take care of the goats. That's how we manage to survive.
International programs aimed at helping local herders adapt to climate change played a key role in preventing famine during the last drought. But the EU knows that more needs to be done.
Climate change for these people is a reality. This is not a problem of the future. It has already been hammering them day in and day out. And what we must do is to help communities, and especially the poorest, the most vulnerable people, to withstand these recurrent shocks with simple measures like this.
The EU takes this situation seriously. That's why the Commissioner for Climate Action, Connie Hedegaard, is here to see things for herself.
I think that everyone who sees what the conditions are for people in the real world, they would agree that to handle climate change, that is an urgent priority. I know we are busy in Europe handling our economic challenges, but I mean, if you look at here, we have some other challenges as well.
The Commissioner's visit is aimed at showing people in Europe how serious the problems here really are. One of their primary goals is to combat poverty.
Prevention, of course, is much more effective. You save lives, you reduce suffering, and it costs less. Just to give you one example, to prevent a child from becoming severely malnourished, it costs 10 euros. To treat this child when he or she is already severely malnourished, it costs 150 to 200 euros.
A decisive factor in the survival of the local population is water. The commissioners visit a facility that stores water for use during the dry season. The project has shown the local residents that they can make changes for the better.
The human intervention was not their issue with the drought, because they think that drought was from the God. It was that's it's that like doing sin that there will be a drought. But now they can see that the human intervention can change the area. They can change the environment.
The farmers have learned how to turn some of the wild plants that grow here into animal feed to ease the pressure on the scarce greenery. And instead of just surviving, some are trying out new fodder mixtures to increase milk productivity among their cattle.
It was always difficult for me to find food for the animals and for my oldest child. But this program has really made our lives better.
And what we now face is the need not just to learn the lessons, but then scale them up, make it possible for many more communities in this area to benefit from support to build resilience against this force of nature.
But these small development projects, like this cistern that's used to store water for the dry season, simply don't go far enough to protect everyone from drought.
You consider two things here.
The EU commissioners consider each of these programs a step forward in the fight against climate change.
Stay throughout the year in this place.